Greetings, my peeps. I am John the Verbose, and this video is my YTpaganChallenge video for week 35 on Do You Believe in Ley Lines? Okay, well, let's just throw in my generic disclaimer here. I speak for myself. For me, ley lines are a big gray area. There's a part of me that really doesn't put any credit into them, and there's another part of me that really likes the idea of ley lines and wants to believe. If you're inclined to believe in ley lines, then I kind of consider it that along the same philosophy of an egregore, that if you believe in it and you put enough energy into that belief, then does it become its own reality? And so then if we're going to explore that direction, do they have to be straight lines or can they be curved? Like a lightning bolt. Lightning bolts are not straight. They're trying to go through the path of least resistance. That flow of energy wants to go to the earth. And it doesn't necessarily go in a straight line to get there. And so that's kind of how I would imagine ley lines to be. Yes, there are places that have this alignment in this perfect straight line. And to that credit, I've also found an alignment with some of the Druid sites at Carleton College. For example, there is the Hill of Three Oaks, which is like the current... Well, it's a natural landmark. It's where the Druids will, well, in my experience, will sometimes have their rituals. There's also the stone circle on the campus. And if you draw a line from the stone circle to the Hill of Three Oaks and then keep going north like 30 miles, then we get to Medicine Lake in the Twin Cities area where I have held rituals. And Medicine Lake, there's a regional park that kind of wraps around the lake, and there is a modern haphazard stone oval up there on top of, I think, what is called the Kite Hill or something, and if you draw a line from those two sites on Carleton, it goes right through the hill. And so I had some fun in Google Earth exploring that. And I was like, no, that's just a coincidence. And so then I thought, well, there are two other ancient sites in the vicinity that I'd like to line up. I'm kind of curious as to what's between them. And so there, you take the Jeffers petroglyphs in Jeffers, Minnesota, and then the bow and arrow geoglyphs, which is this mysterious rock formation that is definitely man-made. Some people say it's a bow and arrow, some people say it's a goose in flight, and it's just these white rocks that are aligned on the slope of the bluffs over the Mississippi River on the Wisconsin side. I think it's Bay City, Wisconsin is the actual town. And so I drew a line from the bow and arrow geoglyphs in Bay City to Jeffers, Minnesota, where the Jeffers petroglyphs are. And then I did this in Google Earth, and then I went over and I was astonished at how remarkably close Carleton College and the campus and the Arboretum and all the sacred sites were to this line. It was just a few miles off if it was a straight line. And so then I was thinking back to the path of least resistance, like through the earth. If there was energy flowing through the earth, could that path of least resistance be somewhere in the sacred sites of Carleton College? And this would have been totally unbeknownst to the Druids that started this. And it's like, do they know they're starting this on what I perceive to be a ley line, which is something that I don't think anyone else has ever tried to look up. And I did this like 3 or 4 years ago. How much credence do you give this? If you keep if you're looking for coincidences, sure, you're going to find some. But what if I keep going? Am I going to keep finding more and more coincidences? At what point, okay, everything lines up with everything if you draw a long enough line, right? So you can see how I'm kind of on the fence with this. But I really like the idea of it, and I do like the idea of the egregore, that if you have enough people with enough belief and that energy, even if it's just okay, if it's psychological, then it's incredibly powerful, and so then use it, go with it, take it and run. But for me, it's not a It's not a necessity in my spiritual practice. It's just something that's really fun to think about. So I'll leave you at that. Thank you for watching my video, and we will see you next week.